Hi, my name is Monique and I live in Denver. I don't know exactly when I was diagnosed with Lyme because I was diagnosed with so many other things, or just told, gosh dear, you're getting older, by several doctors. But I do know, I'm pretty certain when I got it. There was 1 month I just started a new job and I literally gained 20 pounds in a month. And I was exercising in a boot camp. I live in Colorado, so fitness is huge, and I was still gaining 20 pounds, it's this ridiculous amount of weight. And on top of that, I wound up getting allergies, just really excessive allergies, and this all happened in 1 month, and I think that's when my adrenals started to break down because I got Lyme. I am passionate about travel, and I love to go anywhere and everywhere. I've been to almost 65 countries, and including the axis of evil, right? I've been to Syria, I've been to Cambodia, I've been to Burma. They're all wonderful countries. The irony is that everyone was convinced I was going to contract some deadly disease abroad, but in fact I got Lyme disease locally here in Colorado. So Lyme snuck up on me like it does with many other people. I had the two weird symptoms I mentioned, the weird weight gain and the allergies. I progressively got more and more tired, but it was kind of like a frog boiling, right? It was such a slow burn, I didn't really notice. The big thing was I had a lot of digestive issues, and it got to the point where I would eat a full meal, a massive meal, and then an hour later I would be hungry, and not just like a little hungry, like starving hungry, and I could tell that I just wasn't digesting my food properly. So that sent me to a series of medical doctors, most of who basically just said, oh, you have irritable bowel syndrome, or gosh, you're just getting older and that's why you're gaining weight. So then I tried the naturopath route, and I went through a couple of those, spent a lot of money, didn't get good results until finally one excellent naturopath had said to me, you may have an issue with wheat, or you may have an issue with cow's dairy. That helped tremendously with my digestive issues. She also said, if that's the case, you probably have some adrenal issues, and she gave me some adrenal supplements, which helped instantly. I could sleep again, which was something I wasn't able to do. And then she said, go to a medical doctor and get your adrenals tested. And I went there, and she tested my thyroid instead and patted me on the head and said, everything's fine. I don't know what you're talking about. So about a year later, with some of my symptoms abated, I woke up one day after being married and suddenly became suicidal. And I knew rationally I was happier than I'd ever been in my life, but emotionally I was ready to slit my wrists, which is an odd combination to feel. So I called up my therapist and said, I think something's going on and I think it's chemical. And she said, yes, it is. You should call this physician's assistant, who's an integrated physician's assistant. And she specializes in weird cases like this, and it was the best thing I ever did. My greatest source of support, undoubtedly, was this phenomenal physician's assistant. This woman should be deified. She worked with me holistically on so many different levels. She first of all gave me books that educated me, and websites and printouts that educated me on what was going on with my body. She taught me changes in diet that were very specific. I went on, modern medicine, prescription drugs. I changed my diet. I went on amino acids. She gave me stuff that it worked so well, and it took about a year or two, but I finally got the Lyme out of my system. And I remember the day exactly because I woke up one day, and for the first time in years, I was happy. So if you've recently been diagnosed, or if you think you have Lyme and the doctor refuses to diagnose you, know that you are not alone. There's a lot of really strange, bizarre symptoms that I've had, and lots of my friends who've had Lyme felt those symptoms. Each symptom set is different for different people based on the fact that there's multiple different types of Lyme, and there's also multiple different co-infections that go in there. If you think you're having problems with your adrenal glands, you're feeling tired all the time, you're having issues sleeping, I highly recommend, I've got my list here, the Adrenal Fatigue, the 21st Century Stress Syndrome book. If you're having mood issues, which is typical of the European Lyme, then read the book The Mood Cure. And if you want to know some great history on Lyme by an investigative journalist, I recommend the book Cure Unknown. I would also look into making certain that your health overall is excellent. The biggest issue for me with Lyme was the fact that I had this deadly disease that was terrifying and scary because my body was breaking down and I didn't understand why. And I couldn't seem to get a control over it or get ahead of it. And most people treated me as if like I had the flu. It wasn't, Lyme isn't that well known, and as a result, when you hear Lyme, you think, oh, big deal, when it's really a serious deal, and that feels very alienating. So I would love it if people really understood that that Lyme is deadly, and you can wind up in a wheelchair, and you can get Bell's palsy with half of your face paralyzed. Friends of mine that's happened too. So it needs to be taken more seriously, and I hope that people become more empathetic with those with Lyme and understanding these really strange symptoms. And I also hope that the medical profession really kind of wakes up to this as being a serious epidemic.